All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the alaracanfield show, the Awakened Happiness Now global series. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Today is November 11th, 2022. So it's the 11/11 portal. So lots of energies in the air, right? And today we have a brand new guest speaker on the show as well, Gao Motsemme, and she's going to be talking to us today about rapidly rebuilding a painful breakup or divorce and embodying your magnificence. So some of what we're going to discuss is about embracing change and being curious when we're facing major life shifts or transitions. We're going to be talking about resistance to resistance to yourself is resistance to life. We're going to also be talking about releasing shame and opening up to the life force energy. And we're going to talk about the power of authenticity and vulnerability. And of course, Gao is going to be taking some live caller questions, doing processes, etc. Whatever comes up, we'll talk about that in a few minutes. So of course, you can raise your hand if you'd like to ask a question, or you can put your question in the chat if you're here live on Zoom with us. And for those of you who don't know Gao, she is a soul liberator, a quantum witch doctor, a visionary doula who looks into your wounds and pulls out the visions stored within you. She went through major life shifts, which she believes was an initiation to her path of service. She specializes in helping her clients find a balance between logic and emotion. And she has a sixth sense for karma, divine truth, and she's a spiritual warrior to bring light to the things that are hidden. She demonstrates how to access divine power through free will and choice, and so much more. So we're going to invite Gao to share with us a little bit about her journey. So please join me in welcoming Gao to the show. Gao, welcome. So glad you're here.
Thank you. I'm so thrilled to be here. It's different, especially that I've been part of this community as well for years. But being on the show, it's also a different energy, and I'm grateful to be here.
Awesome, thank you, and we're so glad that you are here with us too, to share your wisdom, your knowledge, your experiences, your energies. So because it's your first time here, can you just take a few minutes and talk to us about your journey and how you got to be this visionary doula, this quantum witch doctor, etc.?
Yeah. Where do I start? I was born in Africa in Maung. It's one of the tourist attraction places. But as a young girl, I just grew up in a farm where we just play. My parents were farmers, actually. So I was just in Kana and at the cattle post playing with the animals and all that. That's the kind of environment that I grew up in. And when it comes to the whole spiritual thing, I would say I'm the kind of girl who grew up in the depth of fear or fear of darkness. I'll just say it as that, because as a child, there were so many things that I was exposed to in terms of what I see, and no one is seeing it, the fears and all that I had even at night. And one of my I would say that star that always had me and directed me was the dreams, which, as much as like the whole, which is common, that we turned our back on ourselves, right, and embrace the religion. And as much as the dreams were always calling us forth to say, this is who you are, every time when you speak about something and it's got something to do with the path that is guiding you to being the witch doctor, because a witch doctor or traditional doctor is just the same as a shaman. So being that, it's kind of like, oh no, that means you're gonna be that, you're gonna do that. And we just knew that in our lineage, that it's a lineage of healers and all that, but it's kind of like, don't go there, rather go to church. So I grew up in this whole thing of don't embrace who you are, run away as fast as possible from who you are. And that's the path that I went through. And again, as a young girl, whatever that I came here to do, which is what I'm doing right now, I'm the kind of person who, I was too much. So if there is anyone who feels like, who was told many times, yeah, too much or whatever, I am in that misfit too much thing where it's kind of like, why can't you be like my other children? That was a question that came a lot where I felt alone in that sense that I do not fit. And I had to always, it's one thing that I said when I was young was always, because I'm just how. That's what I always said. At that time, it was kind of like that just rebellious that was coming through. I just got to get the meaning of it later. So I just grew up in that and going through life as that rebel that I was named, but at the end of the day, fighting to be myself. And I still remember, it's quite interesting. What is coming to my mind is that when I was young, one thing that I said is that I don't want to have children. I still remember when my mom was like, come on, don't say that. Why would you say that? I said, no, I don't want to have children. And basically it was me not wanting a child to go through what I felt, what I was going through, And interesting enough, I had children, and my children were they're the ones who accelerated my awakening as I was separated with them. We went through this judicial injustice and all that, and I was not with them for 5 years. And the pain of that and the shame of that, as much as it's pain and all that, and when you are in the middle of it, you do not see it as a gift, but it's also the gift that brought me back to me, and also that brought me to this path that I'm in right now. Yeah,
absolutely. Oh, I love that. And that's the thing. Sometimes when we're in the thick of stuff, we don't realize it is a gift, right? And something you just reminded me, Gao, of something that when I was younger and I had gone through a horrific experience, I remember at that time saying, I don't want children. I'm never going to have children. So I might as well just, I don't know if I don't know what I was thinking, but it's like, I might as well, I'm just going to become a nun, or, like be spiritual, become like a priestess, nun type of person. It's like, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. But my, my guru at the time, he's like, no, it's like, no, maybe that's not really the right thing for you, and anyways, so my life took a lot of twists and turns, and I have 2 children that I love, oh my God, so much, right? And I'm so grateful that I have them, and I'm so grateful that I didn't choose that path, right? So but we have those moments, because it's like, yeah, I don't want to have children because I don't want my children to experience what I experienced. Absolutely, I totally get that. Yeah, I can definitely relate with that. But I am so glad I did not go forward on that path.
I can live with that being a nun, because there was a time when I was also going through some pains, and I was just like, oh, I think I should just be a nun or something. So we always want to do something as an avoidance, actually, of that.
That's what it was. It's like, you know what, I've done the marriage thing. It was a disaster, and I never want to do that again. So no, I don't want kids, blah, blah, all that stuff, So then of course everything changed, but I had those thoughts, and I was serious. I was like serious about it. So I'm glad my guru at the time, still my guru, said no. He didn't say no, he just suggested something else.
Yeah. And actually it's quite interesting, because as we're going through that, no matter, it's kind of like, as we know that words are a spell, we might say something and we are not aware that like, for instance, when I look at what I said and what I experienced, like with the being separated with my children, there was a time when I was just like wondering that could it be that what I said led me to where I am at? And this is also one of the beautiful things about life, when you go back and realize that, oh, I'm going through these experiences, could it be what I said? And also you look at life, whatever that you're going through, and you're like, if life is this self-fulfilling, like whatever that I say, like self-fulfilling prophecy, why can I not prophesy something else that I really want to experience, rather than what I do not want? And what was coming to my memory as I was thinking about that child who was named a rebel and all that, because we are in families where we do not get to talk about certain things. Things are not spoken of, they're not acknowledged and all that. And as someone who is like empathic and all that, I was absorbing everyone's emotions. So anger was expressed through me. It's kind of like when you talk about anger and the shame even of anger, because even of all the emotions that anger is one of the emotions that we do not embrace, or yeah, we are ashamed of it. And what's part of it, as a woman, it's not womanly to feel the anger. So for me, one of the base emotions that I was in was just the anger. And I realized some years later that it was not even mine, but I just had this thing of expressing whatever that was coming through. And at the same time, I was also afraid of it, especially when you grow up and you want to interact with people. It's kind of like, I don't want them to see the other side of me, and when things get to repeat, it gets to a point where it surprises you, where it's kind of like something took over and I was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
you don't see that
Well,
side?
I used to be angry a lot when I was like younger, and to the point where my parents were afraid to say anything because of how I might react or erupt. So like, we're just not going to say anything to her, or we're not going to contradict her. It's like, okay, she can do whatever she wants because we're afraid of her anger. Oh my goodness. But I mean, now it's like, I can't even imagine, at all that, that was me. Right. But the anger was partly, it's like, it was suppressed anger from experiences, but also, I'm also very empathic. So I was trying to be the peacekeeper. And at some points, you can't, because there's just too many energies coming at you. And then for me, it was like, trying to, it's like trying to be the peacemaker, but also like the unfairness, and I think the anger was about the unfairness of certain situations and certain experiences, etc. And then, you can't keep it all inside, right? And of course, I was brought up to never share what I'm feeling, right? So I was not seen, and I was not heard, and definitely was not expressing right, anything, right? So then it's going to stay inside until it one day erupts.
Exactly.
So I had moments of being the psycho bitch from hell. I have no problem saying that now. I was that way for a long time, but not anymore, thank God. But again, even when I'm saying thank God, it's because that was shameful. But right, because that's how we're taught. We're taught that it's shameful, it's bad to be angry, to express anger, that you can't control your anger. Can you not control your anger? It's like, you know what? No, I can't. It's like, there are moments where it's like, no, I can't. Right. So
and I just love what you said, because this is what the whole thing of resist. When you resist yourself, you resist life.
Yes, absolutely.
The whole this or that, right or wrong, bad or good. We always, it cannot be this and that. We want the other one. And it's quite interesting, because one of the things, like, as I was on my path, I still remember when I was just being called to embrace all of me. And one of the examples, one thing that I was given is kind of like, just allow yourself to go deeper into the ocean and go deep into the darkness where no one wants to go, because it's all of you, the volcano, the power, the force that comes with everything. It's all of you, and there are, which is what we do. There are people who love to go to the sea and just love it when it's calm and enjoy those blue waters and all that. But when it comes to going deep to see what is really underneath, we do not want to look at that. And that's just who we are. This is one thing that I mean, it was my path, where being on the spiritual journey, especially when you are being led by pain, which is not a bad thing. We wake up when we go through pain. And one thing that I realized was, at some point, I was so hungry to connect to something, as if it's going to save me from that which I'm experiencing. It was kind of like, save me, like I'm running away from something. And also, like I said, growing up, it was kind of like, go to church, don't connect to the other side, because it's bad. That's the whole thing, is don't connect to the other side because it's bad. One of the fears that I felt when I was just speaking to the elders was like, it controls you, like you don't have any free will when that happens. Looking at the stories that they were told about their great grandmothers and fathers and all that. It was kind of like, when that happens, it's gonna control you, because in the past, like when we look at how we are evolving right now, things are just easy. You don't have to go through a traumatic experience, like have an accident or whatever, like many people who woke up with that. And back in the years, from what I heard from my parents, was that someone would disappear, like at times for years, because they have to go through that initiation. So they were just kind of like, don't you dare accept this. So with that, we deny who we are, we deny our roots, and then we get into this phase where we are not grounded. There is no foundation, and there is also fear of us. Because if we say, don't go there, it's it's kind of like, it's bad, it's not who you are. So it's just like, I'm just gonna run with the angels. That's when I started, I was just like, I wanted to connect with angels. So I was just excited about this whole thing, which is still the same thing that as humans, it's kind of like, I want to bring in that aspect that I want people to see, which is this beautiful, lovely, ever smiling and all that is accepted. I want to bring that to the people, and I don't want people to see this other side, which could be fiery and whatever. When something happens, it's kind of like, just keep this out there. Or even the emotional, sad, grief aspect, that whatever that we're going through, or the child, because the child is the one that that likes to, like, when the child is feeling something, the child doesn't care what is happening, who is there and all that.
Yeah.
We just get to throw that tantrum, and we don't want the child to come through. And the thing is, the more we try to push the child away from us, the more they come through in the forefront, and they surprise us, or even we get even more shameful when that happens. Which, even when you talk about relationships, the question is, who is in the relationship? Is it that adaptive aspect of us, or is the mature person who can handle a conversation or a conflict without wanting to run away from it, and even handle it in a way that is productive, or not even about being right? Because one of the things that I realized, even from my own experience, was that at times, it was quite funny when we were going through a therapy, and after 2-3 sessions, I realized that we are not going to a therapy session. He is bringing me to a therapy session, and I am bringing him to a therapy session. You know when you go, but both of you is kind of like, like, it's him, it's her, it's him, it's her.
Yeah.
So I'm just bringing this person here. I'm not the problem,
Yeah, exactly.
This is where, So with that mindset, no one is gonna get anything out of it until we sit with ourselves and go like, okay, fine. I'm willing to take responsibility here. I'm willing to unlearn, because one of the things, again, when it comes to whether it's healing or embracing change, it's a big factor which we do not learn. We're always holding into, I know, like when something is coming through, and I can imagine even on a show, there is so many amazing people that show up with different models and all that. And when I show up with, I know, which is something that I realize, and I'm always amazed when I catch myself, let me see, someone is coming through and they're going to talk about some womb connection or womb healing and all that, or even embodiment. And I show up and I'm like, oh, it's about embodiment. I know that. And then I check out. There was a time when I logged out over a call, because I was like, oh, I know that. And I logged out. And after some time, I was like, what is that? What is it that you know? And I logged in again, and I got so much from it, because I was just like, can I just release what I think I know and just be an empty vessel to receive what is here, to connect with this person from that child beingness of being curious and not knowing, which is what life is calling us forth right now with this rapid change that we are going through. We are just being called to let go of knowing and doing and being, and also dance with this uncertainty, because we always want things to be a certain way. So it's kind of like, what would happen? What is possible if you just allow yourself to take a breath and be present and dance with not knowing and be curious and connect with that desire? Because when there is something that we desire, but at most of the times we don't even get a chance to connect with that invite, which is that seduction energy, which because our soul is kind of like teasing us like that which I call pleasure. It's kind of like how would it feel like to have this? There is something when your heart feels like it would be nice. Maybe you're not in a relationship, like it would be nice to just be held. It would be nice to just be touched. We just want to feel that, and immediately your mind goes to something, or you kind of like, I got hurt last time, like, oh, I don't have a partner now, how can I even get to embrace that? But you've got hands, you've got the body, your body's inviting you to say, are you willing to open up to this? It's a tease, it's a seduction that is coming through, it's that energy that is saying, but you are so focused on the pain that you went through, and your attention goes there. And we know that intention and attention, then it's manifestation. That I am. Intention, attention, then it manifests, especially when emotions are involved. So if we do not get to process, heal, and release, then we don't get to build that which wants to be expressed through us, because our soul wants to express something through us.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. It's like, are you willing to even, play with what is possible that your soul wants to express through you? Are you, or are you just, so focused on your mind and trying to control what that should be? And you're completely missing what your soul truly would like to express.
Yeah, which we often feel, and that is not even out there. It's not about, because even when I talk about, I wanted to connect with angels, for me it was like, it's something that is out there. It's something that is not human. It's something that is not like this bad, dark, whatever, like what I was running away from my sisters and all that, So when you want something that is out there, which is like in the mind, you are disconnecting to who you are. And this is also one of the things when I talk about that seduction energy, that teasing, that making love, because we're talking about children from the beginning. And for us to be able to give birth to a child, we get to conceive that in our womb. And what is it that makes us think that anything that we get to give birth to, whether something tangible, it could be money, it could be a relationship, we do not get to conceive it within us, which is, we get to feel it, we get to embody it. Like when you want to be in an amazing relationship with someone who just adores you, worships you, are you able to bring that worshiping and cherishing and being adored just right now and connect with it and feel into how it feels like, because if you're not able to handle it right now, that's your body as well, just sharing with you that I do not have the capacity for that. I'm not in the position to bring that in, to conceive that and give birth to it, and when that is happening, it's kind of like, at times you can hear, there was a time when people were talking about embodiment, and it was kind of like, it's out there, right? It's far-fetched. It's not something, I don't know what they're talking about and all that. But when you go through so many things, which is a lot of things that people say, I'm doing a lot of work, I'm not receiving any shift. The question is, are you present to receive? It's kind of like ordering something to say, I want this in my beautiful house, and you've got these decorations and all that, which just excites you. But you don't even know whether they came and what is there, because you are somewhere else and you're kind of like peeping into, say, oh, they're there, or something like that. You are not present to receive that. So you are not able to give birth to them. You're not able to feel them. You're not able to process that, because that which is coming through is kind of, when something comes through that which you desire, you are able to feel it. It moves that which does not have to be there. It's kind of like, I don't want all that in my place. Now I'm here to occupy. This is taking my space. Basically, I'm going to take my space. This is my body. I'm going to be in this body. I'm going to enjoy this life. I'm going to feel, I'm going to create, right? I'm taking my space. But most of us, we do not take our space. We prefer to sit in a corner and observe and allow other things to take space in our body, which is why at times, I work with people at times with entities and all that. And the moment they come back into the body, that's when they get to realize that now they can bring in the breath, they can breathe and enjoy being in their body. They enjoy connecting, which is another level of pleasure, because we cannot feel, we cannot connect if we are not in our body. Even when we allow those suppressed and repressed emotions to be there and take space, and we are not comfortable with being present with it, we cannot process it, right? We are not able to receive because there are other things that are kind of like taking our space. Yeah.
So I know one of the things that people say a lot is like, well, I don't know how it feels. So how can I feel it in the body when I don't know how it feels? So for somebody might say, well, I don't know how it feels to have $10,000 or how it feels to have a loving, healthy relationship. I don't know how that feels because I've never experienced it. So how can I feel that beforehand?
Mm-hmm. Which is true. They
I
don't
know
know
it's the
how,
mind. It's the mind that's
yeah,
making
it's the
that up
mind,
for sure.
and they don't know how the 10,000 feels like because they don't want the 10,000, right? What do you want to do with the 10,000? They want to do something that is going to make them feel good. If you want a car, and this is where the desire also comes through, that desire, that pleasure, that temptation that is coming through, that is kind of like, you want to buy a car maybe, or you want to be able to pay your mortgage, your rent, or whatever, and feel good, or you want to go and go into that holiday or something like that. They don't want the 10,000. They wouldn't know how the 10,000 feels like, because what they want is an experience of something. And what is that something? And with all the suppressed emotions and all that, when the experience is coming through, I'm talking about love making, and I'm going to talk about love making because I feel like we are here in life to basically make love with the universe. And when I talk about love making, it's just being intimate with ourselves and creating from this energy that is it's amazing. I just get turned on when I talk about this, but I know that there was a point when I did not feel like this. Anything to do with love making, with our sexual energy, with sensuality, the first thing that it brings is shame if you are not embodying that. And it's the same frequency, the same vibration that comes in with money. You know, we want it and we don't want it, and when we have it, we may have some stories, and we don't want it. And sex is still the same thing, you know, where it's kind of like with it, you are ashamed, without it, you know, we don't know what it is. But what is possible if we get to embrace this energy of creation, this life force energy, because it takes us directly to our body. And it doesn't matter if you feel shame or there is something that is coming through, because that is also our body just saying that this is where I'm holding this energy of not feeling safe to embrace that. Because I'm speaking about this, it's quite interesting, because as I'm speaking about the whole sexual energy and sensuality and all that, it's taking me to not feeling safe. You know, I'm just feeling that energy, which is not feeling safe to be in my body, to feel, to embrace who I am, right? And we it's not surprising that when it comes to manifestation and all that, it's difficult because we don't know how to be in the body. You cannot feel if you are not in the body. You do not feel safe in your body. You do not feel comfortable in your body. You don't have that foundation to say, is it safe for me to be me? Is it safe for me to feel? You know, and something might have happened that led to that that not feeling safe in your body happening. And it doesn't matter whether it's in this lifetime or other lifetimes. And I still remember, because we spoke a bit about anger. As much as I can talk about it and look at the dysfunction that was in my family in this lifetime, I still remember there was a time when I was just sitting just before I slept, and I had this voice, and it asked me, do you want to know why I'm angry? And I said, yes. And it disappeared. But it woke me, or that process, whatever that happened, which was being abused as a child, probably I was 2, it took me to that process, like kind of like woke me up in my sleep, and I went through that process where I was experiencing that, because it's all happening right now, right? Like it's not as much as we talk about past, present, and future and all that, it's just for our mind to be able to understand what is happening, but it's all happening right now. So I was able to experience this, which again, if I was not in the status that I was in, where I do not attach to that experience, which is also one of the things that I'm realizing, that people at times hold so much into past life, like they hold into the readings and all that, and they re-traumatize again. And with that experience as well, if I was not where I am, I would have been re-traumatized. The way I just felt in my body, that trauma just came through, and I just felt it was mind-blowing the way I processed it. So at times we go out there and we hold into the readings of past lives and all that, not understanding that the life that we are living is this one, and if anything has to change, it's just being here right now and being in the body and connecting with that which is when you want something, the body always brings whatever that is. It doesn't matter imprints from ancestral or past lives or what, it's just here all in the body. So when we get to feel everything happens so fast, it's instantaneous, it's magical, it's at the speed of lightning, because we are present with it right here and right now, which is mind-blowing. Yeah,
I love that. And it's so true. I mean, I am, I do past life work as well as Akashic record work, all that kind of stuff. But I know for me, yes, we can do some healing in past lives, right? But then the implementation for the work to stick happens in this lifetime, here and now. So it's like, yes, you can do the healing work for past lives, because I do that, and it's very, very powerful, and I totally am with that. But then you have to make changes here in the present lifetime as well. So you can do both. So I'm just saying. But
yeah. The problem with people,
our focus is here, though, right?
Yeah.
This is our focus. And again, it's about recognizing that, yes, I may have trauma from past lives, right? I may have trauma from parallel lives. I may have trauma from future lives, right? But we can only change it here and now in this present lifetime, who I am now, right? And we only can know what that is by being aware and conscious of what's happening in our life right now, what is not working, and at the same time, what is working. So you got to look at both, what is working and what's not working. And so that, there's a more of an awareness and understanding, and not just judging what's not working. Because it's, we think it's just one piece, that's just this one piece that's not working. And that's not really true. Because that one piece that's not working is impacting every other area of your life too, in some way.
I just love that. And you brought the word awareness and not judging. And it's also observing and not measuring with it, where people at times struggle to, let me say, you go through that, because our soul is always bringing us to our awareness what we need to know, whether you go in a reading or it's through your own meditation or it's in a dream. There is something that is always coming through. But some people are not able to process that, or to just understand or observe it, because it's quite funny, which is just like that conundrum when it comes to this path, to say it's who you are and it's what is happening, and again, it's not who you are, because it's kind of like that illusion, and it's also real, you understand? And this is where kind of like, then what, but it's just true. Like when you talk about that oneness, to say I'm one with all that is, even when you talk about some of the things, whether it's ancestral karmic survival patterns and all that we perceive life through, and again, I'm one with all that is, and again, I am this unique individual that is coming here in this now time to say, I am a light being incarnate through divine wholeness and oneness and that pure light and love. And that is me declaring and stepping up and telling my ancestors that I am only holding space for those who are willing to collaborate and create with me from this oneness and unity consciousness and this light being incarnate. I am not here to experience myself as that which I might have played as in the past, when I was playing in the dark field or that. It's you deciding, it's you declaring, it's you taking that to say, I'm inviting in. That's us now stepping in and embodying our God self to say, as the God self that I am, this I am presence in the divine light and the power that I am. This is what I'm choosing, because it's my life. I'm here in this physical form. And yes, I'm going to collaborate with you, but I am calling in only this energy. It's not you sitting in and saying, I mean, I did this, and I'm not talking about this just to say someone did it. This was my path, where it's kind of like, and it's still what we are taught, right? You pray to God. Mm-hmm. Someone out there has to make a decision. What is next on my path? Someone has to make a decision to say, what am I going to experience? And me being the kind of person who had challenges with authorities, being my parents, being at work, being the judicial injustice, being at the hospital when I was giving birth. I was kind of like, oh, all this, at the end of the day, it brought me to sit with myself and realize that I have issues with authorities. And as much as at times we do not want to accept that, we do not have a relationship with God, like that denial of God. As much as we love God and the fear that we have marinated in of the fear of God, I love God. It's kind of like, it's just like it's mental, right? Just like self-love is mentalized. I always say self-love is mentalized these days, So I love God. But what about those situations, those instances when you felt like if God was present, this wouldn't have happened in my life? And I don't want to hear anything about God, because God, the pain that I went through, the time when I was mad, at the time when I died out of being hungry or whatever that might have happened, do I get to sit with that? Which, when you embrace it, which one of the powerful things that I realize for me when I do this work and I go to that denial of God, it's just amazing, powerful energy that just gets to be released. And it was my thing too, where when I sat with that and I just cried. But at the same time, the question comes to say, but who is God? And then when you talk about who is God, I come back to me. And which is fascinating because I am that and I am not that. Like, it's kind of like there are times when I embrace it, but there are times when I do not. We have defined who God is depending on what we are experiencing. If things are amazing and fine and magnificent and orgasmic, we just want to talk about how magnificent God is and God is present in our life. But when things are challenging, it's kind of like, that's not God, because I wouldn't be going through these challenges. And still, it takes me back to this play with the denial of who we are, which is our ancestors. Because most of us, I don't know if it's just me, but I don't believe so. We go through, when we talk about family conflicts and blame and all that, and being an African, one of the things that is quick in families is kind of like, you are a witch, you're a witch, you're a witch, you're a witch. Like, that's the energy that is out there, where it's kind of like, everyone is a witch. And we are, I mean, that's the energy that I grew up in, until later in years, when I was just looking at the pain. It came through many times where I was showing many families and the pain that is really heavy in my ancestors, my family, relatives, and all that. And at some point, I was just like, but what is the cause of this? And it's quite interesting when I traced it. And as I was tracing it, it came back to me and it's kind of like, you are a witch. And I was like, I'm a witch? And I'm a witch? And yeah, you're a witch. So all these things is just like, we're just playing and blaming everyone, but I am a witch. And yes, you are a witch, And I was just blown away because, and when I followed it, it was kind of like, it's a puzzle, it's really, and life is really that playfulness. It's just that it's a puzzle really that we get to solve, that remembering to say that all that we're making up, all that our grandparents, our parents went through, and all the conflict that we marinate in, they are not real. Because all the pointing fingers and all that, it's that which I am, and as well as that, I'm talking about embodying the God self and just declaring that I'm here as a light being incarnate. It's also making it clear to those that I have played with, even in the dark realms and other lifetimes, to say, I'm not here to play as that right now. I'm here to transmute that darkness, right? And it's not even coming from the fear of, oh my God, darkness is so powerful and all that. It's kind of like, it's the law of the universe. We talk about the yin and yang and all that. It's all that is. It's all God, right? But where I am right now is me choosing what my soul is here to express as me. But it's not for me to look at the other side and say, you're going to go to hell or whatever, or make it bad or judge or whatever, which is what we do to ourselves and to each other. And I'm just gonna share this. It's quite mind-blowing. One of the relationships that I was in, and as me being that spiritual person, I felt like, I feel sorry for them, and I tried to change this person, and this person was not willing to change. And at the same time, what pissed me off was just that this person is not accepting me. And yes, I was right, he was not accepting me. And then one day I'm sitting in a meditation, and the question that came through was, what part of you is making wrong of who he is?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yeah, he's drinking alcohol, and alcohol is not good, and all that and all that. And what part of you is not willing to accept yourself? And at that moment, I stopped and I realized that the part that I'm judging and that is making this wrong is that inner child that is looking at its father to say, can you just stop this? Put that beer away and just hold me, love me, tell me that you're present. And I'm running after this kind of people because there is an aspect of mine that is willing to just be embraced or to find love or to save my father. You understand? And I'm finding my father in this man. So even though I'm judging him, it's me who is judging that aspect of myself, because it's that which I am. It's the love that I know that is bringing me to these people. And me making, it's got nothing to do with this man, because I don't know the path that he's here, whatever that he's here to experience. And it doesn't mean that if I'm here to be in the spiritual path, it doesn't mean that it's his path. He's got his own path. And if at all he's meant to awaken it or happen in his own divine timing, it's not for me to wake him up. It's not for me to rescue him. The part that I'm looking for, the part that I'm judging, the part that disgusts me is the inner child that is crying for love. And it was that point when I realized that it broke me. Like I just broke down, because I realized that it has always been me. So whatever aspect that we look at, it's always us, because we are that God. We are one with all that is. Whether you go to the ancestors, whether you go to the inner child, whether you go to relationship, it's always that I am. So when you go back to say, they betrayed me, and you just come back to yourself and say it. Most of the decisions that I make, the choices that I made, I knew they were not right for me. But I allowed my wounds to speak way louder than what I like, my inner voice, than my inner voice. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
And that's the thing. When we're judging other people, it's not about them. It's like, where are we not accepting ourselves? Where are we not loving ourselves? Where are we judging ourselves? What part of ourselves are we judging truly? Because that's what's showing up in our outer world, right? And and there's so much awareness here that you're bringing forward, and it's it's so important for all of us to look at that, to question that. Every time we have the awareness that we're judging somebody, or in some way, it's so important for us to look at ourselves and say, where am I judging myself? Where have I judged myself in the past? Where have I done the wrong thing for me? Where was I not in my power, or not embracing my power? Right? Or where was I not, looking out for me and for my best interests? Because there's many times we do it all the time, right? So don't get me wrong, we do it all the time. But the thing is, once you start to have those conversations with yourself, that's when healing happens, and that's when healing starts. It doesn't have to be a healing process. Sometimes it's just that awareness that shifts everything.
that's powerful right there. And even now, when I go to the now to say, it's not where it's that where did I give my power away, but where am I giving my power away? Because if my attention right now is on what's wrong, what was done wrong, I'm still there. I don't have any power. Like there's nothing that I can shift, because my power is still with that which happened. My power is still with those people. I don't have any power. I've transferred my power to them. My attention, I'm thinking about them, every decision. Can you imagine? Maybe for 10, 20 years, you have broken up with someone, or you were in a relationship, whatever that happened. And even in your current relationship or in your life, whatever that you're doing, still that person has to influence the decision that you get to make, or the people that you invite in your life, or how you even relate with yourself. How much power, like that is basically handing your life to somebody and saying that I'm gonna use the pain that I went through to live in pain, and I'm gonna blame you for the rest of my life. I'm gonna give you my power, and you're gonna live with me, because even though I'm not with you, but you're gonna be the center of every choice and decision that I get to make.
I think I did that for a long time with one specific person thing. I think I did that for a long time, and I kept holding on to that story and that identification for a long time. And also, I think I'm over it, but there's still a little bit of, something there. But the thing is, it's like it does color every part of your life, all the decisions you're making, all the choices you're making, even when you don't think it is. But if you haven't healed it, if you haven't, let it go, whatever, it's still affecting you. It's still in charge of you, right? And so so I just want to ask everybody who's here now watching live or watching later or listening later, what story is it that keeps coming up that is really controlling you, that is really making the decisions, or is running behind the scenes of all the actions that you're taking, all the choices that you're making? Are you aware of that? That's huge for you to know. And so then this is not about blaming the story or the person or anything like that, but it's like, it's like, okay, enough, right? So like Manisha says, shame and betrayal. Ooh, right?
Yeah.
But so you're making them, the shame and the betrayal and the story behind it, greater than your power. Yeah. The power that you have to create your life. Right? Yeah. So Gao, how can, and Sarah is also saying that she's carrying betrayal energy, So, those are huge, and those are core wounds. Betrayal is a core wound, right? And so what can they do? I mean, yes, I just finished saying it. Once you're aware, you can, it's really easy to shift out of it. But the thing is, are you willing to? Are you willing to give up that identification with it? Right? So Linda said betrayal and rejection. And again, rejection is another core wound for sure.
Yeah.
These are basic core wounds that you're all talking about, right?
Yeah. And I believe you see like my body moving, and it's quite interesting because I'm feeling this in the spine, like but at the back of the heart. That's where it's more dominant, which is quite interesting because I mean, if you went through some pain, heartbreaks, whatever, this is where the pain, most of the pain we carry is just like at that back where it's kind of.
I'm feeling the burning now in the back of my heart.
Yeah. That's where it's very dominant. And it's one thing that I am like when I was like one of the workshop that I was doing with all this betrayal, abandonment, rejection, and all that. It was quite interesting that when it comes to abandonment, the emotions that were just a lot so strong. It was more self-abandonment, even when you're feeling betrayal, which is something that so it's quite interesting because that energy that was at the back, which is a beautiful thing, is being pushed in the front. So whatever that someone is feeling those emotions and hurt and pain, it's a beautiful thing to embrace it. Because at times we keep it at our heart it's there at the back for some time, and
I'm just going to ask everybody to keep breathing, breathe it through, because I'm starting to feel it now, like in my head area, so it's moving a little bit. So just keep breathing as we're shifting it out. Okay.
Yeah. So it's just coming in the because this is what happens when I am strong woman. I mean, that was the mask that I wore for the rest of my life. That I am strong. And the funny part is, as much as it's powerful, But it's powerful when you are empowered and you know who you are and you can hold space for you. That is sitting with yourself and being compassionate with yourself, no matter what you're processing, right? But if it's for you to push things away, they come to the back, you know, and we're just carrying the, like, we just carry it. It's the baggage that is now, we can't breathe, you know, because we carrying this baggage. We have pushed it away from the heart, and we think that our heart is safe, but no, it's just putting it there for us to say, I'm gonna store this for you, and when you are ready to deal with it, we're gonna come in and it will come through, you know, because the body always has all the imprints, all the patterns and all that. So the whole thing of putting things aside and thinking that I'm gonna carry on, I'm strong, it's not really strong, because it's postponing the healing, it's postponing the pleasure, it's postponing bringing into your life what you need right here and right now, which is consciously, you know, you want that, you know, you need that, but your body is not ready for that. Like you said, what do? Which is processing that. But it's quite funny when I talk about processing that, because there are times when you do not have the capacity to process something, you know.
Absolutely. And that happens to a lot of us, right? So the thing that happened with me was like 30 odd years ago, and I didn't have the capacity to process it at that time. So a lot of it I did push to the back, and a lot of the stuff I never shared with anybody, right? So there was a lot of shame involved and all that stuff. So but it was in my cells, right? It was in my cellular memory, right? And it was in my aura, it's in my field, it's in my chart, it was everywhere. But at that time, I didn't have the tools to process it, right? The resources, the tools to process it, the knowledge. I didn't know anything. I was 20, 22. I didn't know anything. So of course, it's totally normal for us to do that, to suppress it. But then at some point, it's gonna bring up, I keep getting the vision of like, it's gonna bring up this nasty head, it's gonna come up, over and over again until you're ready to process it.
Yeah. And even the understanding, especially when you talk about relationship, let's just talk about that betrayal there a bit, because the way I understand it, it's just that, like I say, that at times you can be with someone in a relationship. This is what I'm talking about, a painful breakup or divorce. You can be with someone in a relationship, and this is someone that you have opened up to. I just love being naked and transparent with life, or being naked and transparent in a relationship, which is kind of like allowing yourself to be vulnerable. And you might have done that with this one person, right? And then you think you know each other, like, at the moment things don't work out, you get to see the other side. Yeah. It's kind of like, what? So that not understanding, like, it's kind of like, in your mind, you cannot process that this is possible. You cannot fathom that this is the kind of person that you were with, and it's kind of like your mind can't process it. So there is still you're still holding, which is also beautiful, especially when you talk about us, the spiritual people. It's kind of like everything we know, we are all beautiful beings, we are all magnificent, we are all light and all that. But can we just accept that as we are here playing and walking this path, there are people who are not here to express the light. There are not people who are here to embrace that light. Can we just see them as they are showing themselves to us? It's not to say, it's not judgment. It's just that discernment to say, oh, this is who they're showing up as. I'm going to believe you. And as much as I love you, I choose to love you from far, and sometimes the damage or the pain and all that has already happened. So we get to go through a process where we have to accept who they are appearing as, not who we thought we knew or who we want them to be,
or
because
who they should be according to society, family, etc. Right?
Yeah.
There's no shoulds. I say this all the time. There are no shoulds in life. So it's like, Sarah says betrayal can also have ramifications for loss of income, community, status. Manisha says betrayal for me from relationships transferred into my business too. Clients and
Oh.
contractors betrayed me, money too, abandoned too, another core wound by father, siblings, ex-husband, etc. Right? So there's so much here, so many wounds, betrayal and shame and rejection and abandonment and all of that, right? That is still uh, playing with you, right? At the same time. So can you, Gao, is there any process that you can do? Because I know I'm already I'm processing stuff because I'm yawning like crazy and I'm feeling the energy moving. So can you just do a quick process for everybody so that we can start to release some of this betrayal and abandonment and rejection and shame and anything else that's,
Yeah, which
be
is
released.
basically that which yeah, whatever that is coming through is just coming through because it's already here, and those are the things that also gets to disconnect us from source, which is sources that I am like the God self. So I'll just invite you to just take a deep breath and just connect to your body, and just don't try to shift anything. Just connect with your breath and keep breathing, and give space and just welcome all that is showing up to be here, because it's allowed here, and we just be grateful for it, that it's showing up now, and it's ready to live. That's why it's showing up. So just take a deep breath and feel where you're feeling it, but I invite you more to connect to your genitals, to connect to your womb. You can just move your womb a little bit as you just breathing in, and just imagine you are breathing directly to your womb space, to your genitals, and you just connect to that energy, whether you are feeling the presence of that being turned on, whether you are feeling the presence of pleasure or not, or it's just shame is just coming through so strongly as you're talking about that. Just invite it to be present, and I'll just call forth divine light consciousness to be present with us, and to just penetrate through our body to check our aura, our energetic fields, and clear anything and everything that is not in alignment with you, connecting to your pleasure energy, connecting to your soul message and money. Because when you talk about the womb, it's just it's that area of the soul message, is that area of money, is that area of pleasure, as we know that money is bringing in those experiences that we that we want to buy, those experiences that we want to buy with money, because we want money to buy experiences. And also the soul message is also that which we are here to express, us, that which our soul wants to express through us. So just connect with your womb space and just start breathing in and out. And just feel as this energy is just moving through. And I invite divine light consciousness to surge through your womb space, to connect with those aspects of yourself that were told to not feel, to connect with those emotions that were suppressed. I'm just feeling a lot around the womb, around the genitals, that is moving through that shame, clearing it at this point of origin throughout our space-time continuum in all dimensions. Just calling forth your energy from anything and everything that you've given your attention to, all those relationship, all those experiences, even our parents, where we've given them the power, even the experiences that you may have been shamed or betrayed, and you made it about yourself. Just releasing all of that at this point of origin throughout all, at its point of origin, with its core, with its hooks, cores, anchors, in all levels of creations, in all facets, removing all of it at its point of origin throughout all space-time continuum in all dimensions. I invite you to just connect and feel your root, as I'm just feeling that energy of not feeling safe. I'm just feeling that in your root. So we just ask Spirit to clear all of that at this point of origin, not feeling safe, just going to the core, to the point of origin where it all began. And what I'm just feeling, a lot that is coming through, some of you might be experiencing it or not, it's in the right foot. There is just kind of like a lot of energy that is just coming through, which is For me, it's those people who experienced oppression, that disconnection with your masculine being wounded. That's what I'm feeling is just coming through. You might feel the numbness, you might feel the pain, however potent or strong it is. It just, you can just shake your leg a little bit. And most of it, when it's just coming through, especially under the feet and all that, it doesn't begin with you. It's things that happened in your paternal lineage where there was that oppression, which also gets to happen from within, where there is that conflict that is happening within. There is that imbalance with the feminine and the masculine, and some of it is from our parents, because I'm just feeling it like going to the top, but most of it is from the ancestors. So I'm just gonna call forth. I'm gonna call forth your ancestors to be present with us. As I invite them to be present, and just imagine you are just surrounded, and we just call forth of pure love and light to be present as you just declare to them who you are. If you claim the light being that you are, and willing and open to embrace divine light consciousness codes, willing and open to embrace and align with oneness, willing and open to embrace the unity consciousness, I just invite you to just declare to all your ancestors that present here. We call for the elemental beings of light. We call for the rivers, the oceans, the mountains, the hills, the caves, as we call forth all ancient beings. Just going back to the beginning of time. Whew. And asking for the healing that you need, inviting divine light consciousness to step through and send the healing that you need, and send it to your ancestors, those who are open and willing to receive it and release the perceptions and release all the times, the pain, the suffering, the rejection, the betrayal, all the suffering that they are grounding into, commanding divine light consciousness to disconnect you from all this discordant matrix, to disconnect you and collapse all this discordant grief that you are anchoring into in all levels of creation, throughout all space, time, continuum, in all dimensions. Calling back your energy back to you, your power back to you, as you declare, knowing that you are that God self that has power within you to create your life the way you desire. Disconnecting from betrayal, abandonment, rejection, scarcity, shame, grief, releasing all of that at its point of origin, and inviting your ancestors, those who are open and willing, those who are ready to collaborate and create with you, inviting them to release and understand that you are not living in those times. Things are different. Inviting that light to penetrate within you in all molecules, all particles, and just bring in the highest level of creation, the highest codes of self-appreciation, self-acceptance, self-love, the highest codes of self-love. Anywhere and everywhere where you are not open and willing to receive this healing, just command the ballad consciousness to neutralize all this magnetism in your body and release all of that. And also send a message to your ancestors, those who are not open and willing, who reject the path that you are in, that you understand and respect what they're choosing. But you just inviting them to understand and respect your free will. Free will, you've got the power to choose your path. You've got the power to choose what gets to happen. You get the power to take full responsibility for your life. Just inviting you to breathe in. Just breathe in. If you feel there is a lot of emotions, if you are alone and you are safe and you feel like you want to scream, bring in that sound as you call forth the elemental beings of light, of sound, to be present with you and release all that is not in alignment with you creating that which you want to create. As you send love and light and grace to those beings who are present with us, and we set an intention that they be with us as long as it is needed, and we set an intention that this healing gets to continue as long as it is needed. You might feel that those sensation, there's a word. Intensifying, whether it get painful or what, just embrace all of it and just release all of that and integrate what needs to be integrated, because some parts, some aspects just want you to shine the light and embrace and open up to receive all that you are, so that you can hold space for you and say, it's okay for me to feel. If you feel some emotions and you just want to cry it out, just give yourself permission to do that, because it's all love, it's all light, it's all that we are. It's just magic, it's beautiful, it's pleasure, it's just that just opening up to that life force energy and embracing that which you are. It just starts with that, and I'm just feeling that in my, it's kind of like lifting up. It's not as deep there, and there's just the dance that is just happening, which is beautiful. And what I feel right now, it's not that heavy. I feel like when you feel something pleasurable coming in, it's just kind of like an opening that is coming through to say there can be joy in this. You at times you get to a point where when you talk about pleasure, you can invite the dance of emotions and laughter. At times it's just being silly and playing and allowing the laughter to come through, because it has its own frequencies, and also those tears, the screaming and all that, just allow it to be a dance. And what I'm feeling as well, one of you might be having this, I'm just feeling this sensation, which is kind of like deep on the neck, more on the right side. At times I'm a mirror. So anywhere and everywhere where you're just not being flexible, because it's about just being flexible, just being received, whatever that you're still holding into, whatever that you are still stuck in, just command all of that to be cleared at its point of origin throughout space, time continuum, in all dimensions, so that you can learn to dance and be flexible with life. Because as tree with a strong root, when the wind comes, it gets to dance with it. It's not so that's how you get to go through all these trials and tribulations and just be that eye of the storm. You just get to be flexible and move, and you can also move your body as you're just going through this, and let go of the stubbornness. Especially when you talk about ancestors, there is that stubbornness, control. This is how it has to be. So just breathe in and receive all of that. And yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. I was yawning a lot, so I was processing quite a bit, but you all may not process the same way. So if you're having tears in your eyes, that's a form of processing and releasing as well, right? So allow the flow, allow it to flow and process however your body wants to. So how's everybody doing? How are you feeling now? What are you experiencing now?
And for some, it might be that heaviness or that sadness intensifying, which does not express immediately in emotions, because if you conditioned yourself to not even feel, it's kind of like it comes through, but it's kind of like, what do I do with this? Because you don't know what to do with, but you are feeling the pain, which is like that that tension. But it's kind of like, I don't know. So just with that, you just invite the water elemental beings to just be present, because it's just that water, right? It's just water that just gets to wash over all that doesn't serve you. And it might happen also, maybe later something triggers you, and then you feel that coming through. It might not happen in the present moment. Yeah,
absolutely. And you might get some new awarenesses about, different stories or different perspectives on old stuff, so just be willing to receive that. Again, being flexible, right? So like I was saying, being flexible with life, with living, but also being flexible with, you know, some of the stuff that we've experienced. It's like, okay, what else was there maybe that I didn't see at the time because I was 22. What did I know? So it's like, I'm older and wiser now. So it's like, okay, I can look back on different experiences and see them in a different light, in a different way, right? Than I could then.
If you see what is happening with my body, I'm not doing this. This is some of you. There is that you're showing up, right? You don't want to receive that. There is, because I just felt that, and then it's just like that push that is happening. And watch where my hand, this is my left hand that is pushing the right aspect. It's pushing that. So one thing that I also find so amusing and yeah, is the way we have been oppressed. That's talking about the feminine, the women, right? We have been oppressed by the masculine for centuries, for years. The patriarchy has, and when it comes the time to heal, which is quite interesting, we are not ready for that. It's kind of like, I don't want anything to do with that, and where are you not allowing yourself to receive because you've already made a decision? And it's not coming from just you. It goes back,
Mhm.
So there is that that pushing away already, which also gets to push away not only the healing, but it gets to push away what you want to create, what you want to receive.
So
And
it's
it's quite
interesting.
interesting as well, because when you talk about the left hand, it's that hand that gets to receive. And immediately, like the way my hand was doing is kind of like, imagine when you are being handed something and you're pissed off. It's kind of like, I don't want that. You just beat it away and throw it out. This is why at times people get to receive. You receive and immediately the money is gone, because it's kind of like, I don't want anything to do with this.
Yeah, got it. Totally understand. So Manisha has also written in the chat that she had a tingling in her left foot, nothing in right foot. That's okay. A lot of release. I was not crying, but first left eye tearing away, then right eye, then left eye, eyes watering away, although I was not crying. A lot of yawning and burping, and I lit a candle before the process. Perfect. Good. So even with the watering eyes, that's releasing, that's clearing, that's purging, right? It doesn't have to be a full body cry, right?
Yeah. And like I said, at times I'm a mirror, is that for some, it's different for everybody. For some, I may feel on the right, and you're on the right. For some, it's the opposite direction. So either way, it's just fine. And the way you're just feeling all the vibing and everything, you just receive what you're receiving. But what I'm feeling a lot of, I don't know if this is just for you or it's for most people. As you were just reading Manisha's message, what I'm just feeling a lot of was the root chakra was just, there's that pain that I'm just feeling in there. Yeah,
that makes sense. That totally makes sense for Manisha, for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good. So just let it go. Don't focus on it now, right?
Yeah, and it's not even about, I just love that you say that, because it's not about for instance, whatever that is, it's not to, when you go to the mind, this is where we also lose our power, or even we lose the opportunity to receive or process something, because the mind always wants to process and understand. It doesn't make sense and all that. And that's where we get lost. Like, we find ourselves somewhere lost and all that. But when you get to whatever that is, the mind might come through, but you just get to observe and let it go. But you get to be here and be present with your body. That's where magic happens. This is where things get to accelerate, and even the healing gets to be faster. Because with emotions, it's as you can listen to a song. And then there is the high tone, there is the bass and all that, and you enjoy all that is happening. So the same thing with emotions. If you get to be present with what is, you just get to observe it and enjoy it like a song, and immediately it's gone. The only way that we get to suffer is when we resist what is here. And even with life, whether it's going through a major life shift or transition, the only way that we get to prolong it is when we resist it. And like I said, your resistance to yourself is resistance to life. And it's quite interesting because as I say, that the energy that came through was that push away, but it's more coming from the left to the right. And then it's just coming to, which is also, it's not wrong if this is an aspect, because we've got those warriors with it. We are warriors, let me just say. We forget how powerful we are. And those aspects that we created to protect us when we're going through some challenges, they will come through because when you talk about oneness, unity consciousness and all that, it's kind of like, what are you talking about? I'm gonna have to integrate and be one with this, whatever name that you are bringing through, right? So it's coming through to protect you. And the only sad thing is that this protection served you then, but it doesn't serve you now. Right now it's protecting you from your next level of expansion.
Exactly. Oh, I love that. That's so true. Sarah also says, I'm going to light a candle for the rest of the day. I wasn't expecting this to come up on 11/11. I have worked with it so much, but I still feel some anger as it has severely affected my lifetime income and career. My husband's betrayal when we were co-rabbis of a synagogue we co-founded. Yeah, definitely can see that. Feel that.
I'm getting chills. That's just the yes, 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 yes. So just embracing what is, because I was blown away the other time. I was just like, this is crazy. I was in it like, I was like, those first love relationship, whatever. And I've just realized that no matter what happened then, there is a part of me that still, we just love each other in a way, even dreams, whatever. So the other time I was just like, come on, I don't want this connection in the sense. It's okay to connect, but I don't want this kind of like love that is there. And we've long separated, like when I was a teenager or something like that. And I was doing a process to disconnect with this person. And when I realized the sadness that I felt, like some sort of grief or something, like I was like, wow, this is quite interesting. So at times the things that
it can be a loss for sure.
Yeah.
A loss of way of being, a loss of like, who am I without this person? And just yeah, for sure. I felt that too. Yeah.
It's with everything. And this is where we're not accepting this loss that is happening. Because as much as when I was going through divorce, at the moment when I was going through it, I just had this, I was in so much bliss. Like there was like my soul was in, I was aware that my human is scared, obviously, but my soul was coming through with this energy of expansion and all that, which was amazing. But as we were approaching like the finalization of the whole divorce, and a lot of things happened in between, as we were approaching that, that's when I experience this deep grief. So at times it comes even later, like during the time when it started, I was just like accelerated and all that. But at the end, when now things were finalized, it was kind of like, oh, really? So
it's the end of something, so, or sometimes it's the end of an ideal, right? An ideal marriage or ideal way of being, ideal, relationship, etc. And so that's totally normal as well, just accepting that, it's the end of something and you're grieving that loss. That's fine too, but just don't stay in it. Just, okay, I'm feeling it and I'm letting it go, right? Moving through it. It's like, it's a part of the process for sure.
And find a way to express it. It could be through writing, it could be sharing with someone, it could be, I facilitate breathwork as well, but what I love is also bringing in the sound, which could be when you are doing the breath work, even just by yourself, and you bring in the sound, because when you breathe, and something wants to be expressed. At times it's just like, it could be that just that screaming when you're going through it, and you are expressing something that you suppressed for many years, right? So that expression, it's also the release of energy, which we often don't do. And I understand that at times is because we don't have that safe space. So it's vital that you find that safe space where you can express that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, everyone doing good. I think we've all finished processing, right? So we're all feeling good. Drink some water, take a deep breath. So Gao, do you want to take a moment and just talk about the packages that you're offering today with us?
Oh yes, please.
Just give me 1 second. I'm just going to put the link in the chat just in case. alara.at/show/Gao11, GAO 11. All right, and I'm going to share my screen.
Good.
I think I'm going to share my screen. Yes, I'm going to share my screen. All right. So we have two packages, package A and package B. So package A is like 7, 8 MP3s and PDFs, and then package B includes everything in package A plus a 30-minute personal session plus an extra Yes to Life Force Energy bonus MP3. All right, so you want to talk to us about the package A first?
Yeah.
What are some of the elements of it?
As we brought in the pleasure, the ancestors, package A, it's really taking you through that, like a lot of things that has been mentioned here, the rejection. There is also a workshop that is going deep to deal with the rejection and all those coming survival patterns, grief, abandonment, betrayal. It's just, there's a lot in there. And one other thing which is very common when it comes to accepting us or connecting to our ancestors. What I love is that we had that pushing away that came through. So with the agreements that we had or the connection that we have with our ancestors, at times we are on the path where it's kind of like, I know there is something that I'm here to do. I have got these gifts, like what I'm doing right now. And that was also my path where I knew that there is something that I get to do, but there was no clarity. I didn't know exactly what and what. There was no clarity, or maybe, you go up, you show up, but there's this resistance that is coming through. And when that connection, when there isn't that alignment with your ancestors, or they do not allow you to go ahead and do what you're here to do, whether it's fear of being killed, banned, whatever, it stops you. They are protecting you still from being hurt. So they show up to protect you, and they stop you from doing what you're meant to do, because they're still holding into what happened in the past. So it kind of like puts a ceiling on your gifts, and also on receiving. It's quite interesting. Some years ago, when I was still going through this whole healing and the integration, I had a voice that would come and say, I don't like money. Like literally in the morning, I'll wake up with that. Like first thing when I wake up, I just sit and it comes through and say, I don't like money. And I had to work through this. So I created this for some people that might be having challenge with the gifts, kind of like, I don't know what my gifts are and all that. When you accept yourself, you get to connect with your gifts. So at times that resistance to who you are, that disconnection to your roots is what is leading to you not having the foundation to hold even the frequencies and the codes that are coming through, because you don't feel safe. If you don't feel safe in your body, even that which you want, those expansive codes and all that which you desire, that is out there, we are not able to go there because we don't have a strong foundation that allows us to go there, or that allows us to bring in that which we need. And that connection to our team is also it's not so intimate, because we are not connected to ourselves. This is what I talk about when I say that denial of God is the denial of who we are. So when we are not connected to who we are, we are not connected to source, and we won't connect to the gifts that we are here to bring. So it's that prosperity mindset audio is It's just to rewire your mindset and bring in and align with that prosperity. It's quite amazing. I've experienced some beautiful things when I was listening to it, and I've received some amazing feedback as well from people who used it. And the soul message and money activation is also dealing with that shame that we're normally holding in our womb. As I say that this womb, and the energy that is there is the energy of pleasure, is the energy of money, is the energy of creation, and even because we connect to the inner child through the navel, right? So when we are not connected to who we are, which is disconnection to our inner child, we are not able to, because our inner children, whether we like it or not, they know the vision, they know what we're here to do, you know. So when we are not connected to them, it's kind of like they're going to hold into that which they know we're here to do. And that disconnection again from the masculine or the feminine, from this whole disconnection or imbalance with the feminine and the masculine, you can bring in inspiration where it's kind of like, I'm this intuition, that is this inspiration that I'm receiving, and when it comes to taking action, you don't get to, you know. And most of the time when you have also money issues, you feel it in your lower back, right? Yeah. So this is where the magic is. The magic is happening in the womb. That soul message and money activation. It's just doing the whole healing. I've had people who had some amazing detox even after just doing that, and some amazing things happen. So I'm just curious what you're gonna experience, because it's different for everybody. And then the heart, obviously we're talking about love, and we always want to protect our heart. And when we do that, we also block that which we want to receive. So it's just going back there and doing the work. And there is an MP3 as well, because when we go out, like for instance, when we talk about the love and all that, the betrayals and everything, there is someone who we feel did something to us. And just a spoiler for those who are gonna get this, which was mind-blowing as well for me, when I was feeling like somebody did something and I was told we just have to go through this process of healing. One question that came to me that I was asked was just, what attracted you to that person? So it's a spoiler alert, but that question will just lead you to where you wanna be, because there is just a lot of things in there. You will do the work, and there's a lot that you're gonna find out. It's quite amazing. And then the other one is there is a journaling, and there's also a video that with that journaling, there's a video that goes deeper into what I just said there, which will bring in the healing. And I always say it's vital that we do the healing anchored in love, because at times when we close our heart and reject that person, we reject aspects of us that love that. Like I said, I was looking for my father outside of, like, from this different man, right? And when I was looking for my father, if I close that, if I shut off that, I'm shutting off that connection to my father. That's the aspect that was interested in that person who was toxic or emotionally unavailable or an alcoholic, right? So you are shutting off aspects of yourself because you don't want to feel, you want to find a way to disconnect, but there's a better way to disconnect than shutting off your heart. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
So, and then there is the maternal lineage with money and pleasure and gifts. That is like I mentioned, that at times it's because you were hurt, you were banned, you were killed, you were drowned, and they just come through, they want to protect you, and it's kind of like, you're not going to do this. And with that, like I think when I was just doing that short process, I spoke about grounding and suffering, you know, where it's kind of like we identify more with suffering, like this is just who we are not meant to do that, it's going to be more painful, you know, we have bonded more with suffering, like we are meant to, it's us, you know, we've got this thing whether we do it consciously or not, but we always unconsciously, there is something that we always say, like, oh, that just happens to us, oh, that's not for us, you know, we just push things away, it's not for us, or money is not for us, it's not for, it's for those people who are not spiritual, because, you know, finding that place in the kingdom of God and all those beliefs and all that. So it's working on that and clearing a lot of that. It's also it's just magical. Yeah. And then the other one is the paternal one, where you focus on that paternal lineage as well, and clearing all those guilt and all that, because you find that because of so many years that the patriarchy has been dominant in our lives. There is also that guilt that we even have within us. As I said, we are one with all that is. There is no separation, right? As much as we may feel that somebody out there did something, but it's still connect to what happened within us, or what we did within us, as like the ancestral lineage and all that. It's quite interesting because I'm feeling that as well. There's quite a lot that is happening. So I'm just thinking about that. So align with authentic and higher authentic self and highest potential. That is also a magnificent MP3 that takes you through a process of we wear different masks. Approval mask, rescue mask, even intellectual, right? There is just like this intelligent thing where it's just a mask, because we don't want to feel. So therefore we just hold into the intellect and our qualifications and all that. So there's different masks that we go through. So here it's just sharing those barriers, because when at times we so meshed with this mask that we don't even know who we are. Like we've just become one where we're not even realizing that this is just a mask. It's not like I love so crazily, kind of like, you know, the times where you care about someone so much, and it's not like you care, it's because you want something. You know, it's kind of like, I'm just going to do this, or maybe they'll love me, you know, and when you don't get it, you get pissed off, or they don't recognize me, that self-approval mask, where it's kind of like, I'm doing so much for everybody. You don't realize it, but that's just how you're showing up. But when you are by yourself, there is this doing so much, and they don't appreciate me, and all that. You know, it's still the rejection of the self. Actually, through this mask, we reject ourselves, but we just show in that facade of who we think other people want to see, you know.
So that's package A. And of course, 2 and 3 part payment plans are available. And you can use the gift code from me, TACS10. And then, of course, there's package B, which includes everything in package A, plus a 30-minute personal session with Gao and a Yes to Life Force Energy bonus MP3. So what can people expect in the personal session with you, Gao?
Personal session, it's quite it's unique and different for you, because you can imagine that we're just sitting here, and there's a lot that was happening. If you're observing the way my body was moving, it's kind of like whatever that was coming through. So now imagine if it's just one-on-one, where everything gets to present itself and you get guided. Because as we were starting, there's just a lot of things. I'm just gonna bring that up in the forefront. But at the end of the day, I couldn't go in there and do all of that. There is one of you who is feeling like this, receiving a lot, massive energy, like the third eye was just like, ooh, there's a lot of energy that is just coming through there. So that came into my awareness, and there was also kind of like headache. I don't know if one of you is aware of that and all that, which is kind of like, with this headache, it's kind of like you are not able to process these downloads, you know, and just receive them. I'm talking about a capacity a lot, which could be releasing something in the body and expanding our capacity to receive these codes that are coming through, you know. So I was just feeling a lot of things that were coming through, but I couldn't do anything about it. But when you get into a session, it's kind of like, what is it that is here? It could be like I said, it could be rewiring of the brain, which is something that I get a lot. It could be you being brought fully into the body. It could be entities. So it's just a lot of things, or connecting with your ancestors, or connecting with your higher self. The body and your higher self are just guiding us, but it's more it's a psychic surgery, I would say. This is what a lot of people experience, where it's kind of like, oh my God, it's a psychic surgery. I'll just sum it as that. You know, I never know where it's gonna go, but at times we think there is something that we know we get to work on. That's us. But then your body is like, for instance, if you want to, whether it's a job, money, whatever that you want, if you bring that in the forefront, because even conversations are different. When you say, okay, I want to create 50K, or you say, I want to have a an amazing lover and experience whatever, your body's going to bring different things with every conversation. You can set an intention to say, this is what I want, this is what I want to experience, because it's all about creation. And this is also one of the things that at times we focus so much on healing. And with this session, it's kind of like, let's create. Let's bring in that pleasure, that creation. What do you want to create? What do you want to experience? And then we work on what your body is bringing to the forefront to say, if you move A, B, C, then the flow is going to happen. So here it's just creation. It's bringing in what you want to create, and then we work on that which you want to, we move all that which is standing on the path of that which you want to experience. So it's just magical and it's different. Yeah.
Yeah. So it sounds powerful. And then, of course, there's a bonus for people who purchase package B, which is the Yes to Life Force Energy bonus MP3.
Sorry?
Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, this is what I just channeled it yesterday, and it's quite mind-blowing, because I was talking about creation. Actually, I was like to say, what do you want to create, right? And with this MP3, it's that which is bringing you to that creation, really connecting with it, really embracing and opening up to this seduction. It's not now a seduction or a teasing. You are connecting with it to bring in and create that which you want to create. It's kind of like a sample, which is something that you can always keep on replaying, of creating, of creating, saying yes to your life force energy. It's saying yes to life. It's embracing your sensual and sexual energy. And then, because the reason why I'm talking about embracing your sensual and sexual energy, it's just that it's expansive and maybe not, but it brings you directly to the shame that you have marinated in, right? And what is the best way to get into something, to say, okay, fine, I want to feel the pleasure. And then if the shame is coming through, you just holding this and saying, this is what is here. It's kind of like you can be here as shame, but there is this amazing pool that I'm feeling. There is amazing creation that I'm feeling. So the shame can play around, but eventually, because the body is responding to that, to this energy, when we bring in, like, for instance, with the energy that is in there, and even the breath, which I didn't go there, but when you bring in the breath, which is not, it's not like you don't just breathe like normal, but you bring that sensual, sexual breath, even if your mind may not be aligning with it, but your body somehow is going to say yes before your mind can say yes. And that's the acceleration of the healing. It brings you directly into that energy. So this is what is going on with this energy. It's just one of those energy or MP3s where you get to just be and allow yourself to be worshipped, to be adored, to be taken care of. Because I feel this is what we don't bring in often, where we just get to be that egg, the egg that knows that the sperm is going to come to it. That's the magnetic beingness. That's the creation where you get to attract that which you want. So you get to experience that through this MP3.
Beautiful. Sounds wonderful. I love it. So package B is $249, and of course there are 2 and 3 part payment plans available. And again, please do take advantage of the gift code from me. So use gift code TACS10. Okay. So package A and package B are both available at alara.at/show/Gao11. Wonderful. Thank you. Some powerful packages for transformation, and for you to start creating the life that you truly desire and deserve.
And it's so I don't even have words to describe what I mean when I say it's, you get to create at the speed of lightning. I've observed so many things where someone after a session, immediately an hour later, they're just like, you can't believe it, I just sold after I spoke to you. And someone who has been like the other one who, I think it was 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago, somewhere there. And after we were working together on Monday, and then on Tuesday, it's like, you don't know, I'm so fully booked this week. And the whole of the last 3 weeks, I didn't have any clients or whatsoever, and suddenly everything is, it's just, how open are you to receiving, and if you are open to that instant manifestation, like I said, in the spirit of lightning, that's why I love this. I call this magic. As much as we don't embrace magic, and we don't fully embrace magic. At times when you talk about magic, someone's like, what? Magic and all that. Of course, magic is here and it's not going away anytime soon. How open are you to that magic, which is who we are? When we talk about us embracing the God self, like on the other side, we're talking about that instant manifestations and creations and all that. But as the human, we have adopted this thing that it has to be hard. It has to take a long time. I have to struggle, but this gets to change, to bring in that openness, that possibility, that flow, knowing that it's you, like I said, it's you who gets to make a decision to say, I'm opening this now. I'm showing up, with your magnificence, with that confidence. Because for you to create anything, you get to feel it within me. Who am I to receive this? Which is one of the energies that comes through so often. Who am I to receive this? Who are you not to be or not to receive that?
Right. Beautiful. That's powerful. Exactly. Who are you not to receive it, to be it, to create it, whatever it happens to be? Powerful. Wonderful. Thank you. So I'm just checking in if there's any last questions, comments, feedback, anything coming up for anybody before we go. Again, it is 11:11, so please drink lots of water. Please focus on your intentions. Please focus on what are you creating, where are you moving forward in your life, right? Any other last words of wisdom, Gao, before we go? I know we've gone a little bit over, but that's okay.
Yeah, what I can say is just that we're going through rapid changes.
Yes,
and
for sure.
We cannot put a blind eye on that. We're just being called to really be embodied, because these codes that are coming through are so powerful, they're so strong, so embrace change, embrace uncertainty, connect with those desires, stop resisting them and calling them names or whatever, because that's just the magic of it. We're just here to dance, to enjoy, to make love with the universe. When you make love with yourself, you make love with the universe, then creation gets to be easy. But it's embracing and loving all that we are, even the process that we find ourselves in, embracing all our emotions and loving ourselves. Because when you say yes to yourself, it doesn't matter what somebody or whatever that you think about other people. The universe gets to give back who you are and what you have accepted. It's just the law. We're just working with the law, right? It's not about somebody say this and all that. It's just like, actually, talking about that, I just received a message last night from someone saying, just giving me feedback, and she said, I went back to my family and and how golden is that for someone who for 50 plus years, it was always triggers after triggers, there was no harmony, but she managed to be in the same energy with the same people that raised her, but she got there not caring anything, like just magic coming in and coming out just like that. And it's beautiful when you get to hold that space, especially with what is happening right now. So
for sure.
Embrace change, dance with uncertainty, make love with the universe.
Beautiful. I love it. Sarah, you wanted to add something? Go ahead and unmute yourself.
I just wanted to say that when I saw the title for today's class, I thought, oh, I don't need that. I'm over it. I've done so much work with that. And it's a very interesting timing, because I felt like, with the eclipse energy and the shift in 11/11, I was, as I said before, I was totally not expecting this to come up. And I just spent the last few minutes typing a fairly substantial letter to my ex. Stuff I feel like he needs to hear and things I need to get off my chest. But I thank you for your energy. You've got such a clear, loving, beautiful, grounded energy. And I appreciate that, because if there hadn't been that when I tuned in, I might have just hung up like, I don't want to deal with this. I'm done with that.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing it up. Thanks for helping encourage me to clear it and to embrace everything else that I've been doing in the 15 years since, been struggling to do in the 15 years since that happened. So bless you for that.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And it's just what we said in the beginning, right? To say at times we are in the mind and we say, like, I know that, I've done that, but the learning comes from the unlearning. So I just appreciate that. And
Yeah.
it's
Thank you,
always in
Sarah.
layers. Yeah. So thank you so much.
I'm glad you stayed, and I'm glad you typed up that long letter. I would suggest you not send it out today.
Oh, no,
Right?
I sit on these things for days. I tweak
Okay,
it,
good.
look at it. And, you
Yeah.
know, if it's appropriate, I have somebody else look at it. But this is stuff I've been needing to say to him for years. So,
Yeah. Okay, cool.
but
Not,
thank you.
just not
Okay.
today. Just wait it. Well,
Yeah.
at least wait a day. Yeah, good.
Or you can go, we can do a ritual again with it. Again, you can do a ritual. Just follow your guidance.
And Manisha was asking where you're from in Africa, because she used to live
Oh,
in Kenya and Tanzania.
I'm from Botswana in Southern Africa. We're just in the middle of Zimbabwe, Namibia, South Africa. Yeah, the landlocked country. Beautiful country, actually.
Yeah, good, awesome. Yeah, this was a really important call. I mean, I was surprised that some stuff came up, and that I was able to process through it. So that was great. I think it's just little remnants. As far as I'm concerned, I've done so much healing, but there's little remnants still there. So being able to process through that, so that was good. Awesome. And so again, because we were doing some deep processing, please be gentle, drink water, walk around. If you are in North America, go outside, get some fresh air, get some sun. For those of us in Europe, go to sleep.
Yeah, I will process it in dreams and all that, which is always exciting when that happens, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So wonderful. Thank you so much, everyone, for all your feedback as well and your questions and being here with us today. And thank you, Gao, for such a powerful call, powerful process, taking us through that, because it was so important. And just knowing that, just all the wisdom that you shared with us, it was like awesome. So thank you. There's so much to learn and so much to unlearn. So please do go back and watch and listen to this call again, because there are so many nuggets. So thank you.
Thanks for having me. I really had a lovely time. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. All right, everyone. So happy 11/11 for the rest of the day. And again, be gentle, gentle, gentle. All right. So until next time, may you continue to be blessed with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, and radiant health. Sending you all much love and blessings always. Bye for now.
Bye.